Okay, this is the spoiler-heavy review, so if you have not seen Batman v Superman, shut it down, go watch the movie, and come right back. So Jim's gonna come down here in a little bit, and we're gonna talk about Batman v Superman. Before we get started, we're gonna put our film critic hats on, and we're gonna dive deep into this movie. In the last spoiler-free video, I critique this movie more as like a DC fan. Bottom line, if you're a DC comic book fan, you're gonna enjoy this movie. If you're a film critic, there's a lot to talk about, so let's get to it. Okay.
Excuse me for my voice, I am a little sick.
What is going on? Hey, so, if you made it this far, then you should know by now, this is the spoiler-heavy review for Batman v Superman: Dawn of Justice. So throughout this video, we're gonna talk about the good, the bad, the ugly, and the justice. Like in the last video, I was all like happy-go-lucky. I was praising it because I was reviewing the movie as a DC fan. Call me a fanboy, call me whatever you want, I don't give a fuck. I really enjoyed the movie. That's why in the last non-spoiler review, I was like, this movie was fucking good. It was lots of fun, and I think I was right. I think I'm right. I had a great time watching this movie, but now we're putting our film critic hats on, and we're gonna dive deep into this movie. Now, Jim, initial thoughts. Go ahead.
Initial thoughts. I'm a big DC fan. I love Batman. I mean, I love DC over all the other comics. But to be honest, there is problems with these movies. The one thing I do enjoy about this movie a lot is I'm entertained the whole way through. Like, the movie does not, like, for being 2.5 hours long and being first hearing that, this is what I've always wanted in a superhero movie. Especially a superhero movie that has, like, multiple characters. It's like, you can't just make a movie for, like, 2 or 1.5 hours. It has to be long. And this movie did not overstay its welcome. It literally, it paced, like, the pace was kind of weird, but the way that it worked, it gave me a good story for Batman. It gave me a good story for Superman. And then it kind of gave me little good stories here and there for, you know, Lex, a little good stories here for Wonder Woman. But the thing is, the two major focus of this movie was one whole major focus was Batman, and one whole major focus was Superman. And it was what was going on in Superman's life and what was going on in Batman's life. Yes, that is confusing at one point, but to be honest, how else do you make a superhero movie about two characters? You can't just be like, oh, let's just revolve it around one person. So that being said, it entertained me. I enjoyed it the whole time. But there was moments in the movie where I was like, this is kind of dragging, this is pointless. Some scenes, like, there was like a dance scene where I was like, when Batman and Wonder Woman meet each other twice. The second time, I felt like it was a good scene, but very pointless. I felt like that scene was maybe just, it was dragged. It was really dragged, and it was like, yeah, it was for story detail, but it was like you just wanted to put Wonder Woman in the story a little bit longer. I felt like they could have lose that scene. They had a lot of that, so, I mean, the movie's not perfect. But in that sense, I was entertained, and that's what I loved about it. It still has like that kind of like we were talking about this. It is that kind of comic book feel to it, where like some things just don't make sense. Like, why is Lois Lane there? Or why is she always like how does she not die? Like at this, like the fact that she was at the end battle and you know she didn't get crushed by anything is like that's kind of weird.
Like,
you know,
when I was watching this movie, in a weird way, it felt like a comic book. One thing about this movie, and here's the storytelling part, is like the beginning half of the movie felt like a political drama, right? I mean, and then towards like the middle and the end, it just turned into a big sci-fi, action-packed CGI fest. And yeah, I gotta agree with you as well. Overall, I was entertained. I really did enjoy this movie. I enjoyed it a lot. I'm also a DC fanboy, or fan, can we just say fans? Sure. Yeah, I enjoyed the movie. Of course, it's not perfect. It is not an Oscar piece. As a superhero film, this is good. I liked it a lot. Yeah, it had some flaws, of course. There was, like, Zack Snyder really knows how to present the visuals. I think the visuals are his biggest strengths. And especially when he's adapting a source material like a comic book, like the way he adapted, brought the death of Superman to life, the way he brought The Dark Knight Returns back to life. It looked beautiful.
Was like one way I was like, you know what, you're not a big storyteller, but you did a good job putting these stories together and not me hating it.
And that's the thing. I think the storytelling part and editing part on Zack Snyder's probably his weak points right there. I hope that's something he catches on for Justice League. If he took a couple of scenes here, took a couple of scenes here, and he added some more substance and some more humanity, and if he cared just a little bit more about the story, then we would have some really gold. It's all right there. The thing is, the movie is all right there. It's good. It's a good movie. However, it is missing some things, right? But that's one thing, where I think Zack Snyder fucked up a little bit was the story. I just wish he cared a little bit more about the story.
I just feel like maybe there had been like more descriptive. I feel like that's where like the story really kind of threads and stuff out. It kind of falls apart where it's like you're kind of you just want to get to the action and kind of have Batman's story.
Yeah.
Which, like, I mean, Man of Steel did a good job showing us the power behind Superman. But what I loved about this one was when he fought Doomsday, is it showed how much power he has and how much power he really doesn't. And I feel like Doomsday really kind of brought that out in him, where it was like, again,
made him more vulnerable.
More vulnerable, and not just more vulnerable, but more of like that kind of like, you're trying to do everything you can, like Superman would. Like he's trying to choke lock him. He's trying to do all this, and I was like, dude, that's something I saw in a cartoon.
Yeah.
So I think Superman was a really good one, and then on top of that, Wonder Woman.
Yeah. So Wonder Woman. Yeah, I really liked Wonder Woman. All right. One thing that I really did like is that all the actors performed. They did their job. Yeah. They were all from Ben Affleck to Lawrence Fishburne. Everybody I think was on point. And
Lawrence Fishburne's in it.
Yeah. Yeah. I think Ben Affleck is now my favorite Batman. I think he played it very well. Superman, he did his thing. Wonder Woman, Gal Gadot did good.
She's on it.
Can we talk about Jesse Eisenberg?
Okay, that's probably one of my biggest kind of flaws in this whole movie, only because it kind of feels like it doesn't set right. Like, there's some things I do like about him. I don't like the whack that he's wacky, or that he's kind of like, his character's kind of like, I don't know, like, it's almost like, who do we say, the original Superman villain?
Gene Hackman?
Gene Hackman kind of plays that kind of role where he's kind of goofy and wacky in the sense, but he has that serious tone to him.
Yeah.
And I feel like they just don't, like, that character, I just don't care for it to the
Yeah. I might disagree. I actually did like Jesse Eisenberg's Lex Luthor. It's different, but you see some Kevin Spacey and Gene Hackman in there. You see a little bit in that, but he also did his own thing, especially at the very end when they shaved his head and he went psycho, like he was in his jail cell. That's the Lex Luthor that I was waiting for.
Yeah. But if it would have been like that Lex Luthor from the beginning, I probably would have liked him more.
But like once Lex showed his true colors towards the end, I was like, this is the Lex Luthor I'm waiting for. I knew it from the beginning that it was just like a facade. It was just a cover-up to show his real, true personality. This guy is a dark son of a bitch. He is a menacing freak.
Yes.
Lex Luthor is really pulling the strings. He's got Martha Kent held hostage, which makes... And he tells Superman, bring me the head of Batman, and I will give you your mom back. And now at the same time, Batman is like, I'm going to war with this son of a bitch.
Yeah. So to add more to this story, to add why Batman's more fueled, or much more fueled into this plan, or into this fight sequence, we had something called the Nightmare sequence.
Yes. And he goes inside this truck, and inside this truck, he thinks it's kryptonite, but it's not. It's a full plan. It's Superman's army.
And not just Superman's guards, but by parademons.
Parademons! The parademons look sick. Lois Lane is dead in this vision that Batman has.
And apparently Batman was the cause of her death, or some sort. See, that's the thing. This part was like almost like a dream sequence, but it wasn't.
It's like a dream within a dream.
Yes, basically.
Inception. And when he wakes up from his dream, he's back in the Batcave, but another Flash happens, and it's the Flash.
It's the Flash.
Barry fucking Allen, but he's traveling super fast. He's traveling through the multiverses, and he's trying to reach out to Bruce Wayne. He says, Bruce, like, Lois Lane is the key to all this. Yeah. She must live. But he's basically telling Batman, I'm holding you responsible to make sure Lois Lane doesn't fucking die, because if you do not want to see that nightmare come to life, make sure Lois Lane doesn't die. What I really enjoyed about this Batman is that he was brutal. He was merciless.
He does kill, but not in a sense where he actually, like, significantly goes up to someone and just pops him in the head or something like that.
Yeah.
Like, he's more of like an action hero killer, where, like, if someone's shooting at him, he'll shoot the car, and if the car explodes, too bad. You know, like, if you're pretty much collateral damage.
Yeah.
And of course he saves people, but you're collateral damage in that sense.
Yeah, pretty much. At first I was like, the movie didn't really explain why he just gave up his moral values. Like, why is he killing?
Then they go up to Superman, and Superman looks like the decaying Superman from Dark Knight Returns.
Yeah, that was cool.
He's like all zombified. Yeah. And as the sun starts to reflect on his body, you see him regenerate his life force.
At the same time, Lois Lane throws away the damn spear, the kryptonite spear, and she has to go get it back into the water, and then the thing crumbles, and then she turns into the damsel of distress. Once again,
between those events,
being Lois Lane,
this is where you get these really cool action scenes between Doomsday and Wonder Woman. This is where I feel like Wonder Woman really shined the most.
Oh yeah.
So right now they're both affected by the kryptonite because Superman charged in and stabbed Doomsday in the side, which I think was really a really good way of doing it.
Yeah.
I mean, they could have gone so many other ways, like maybe had like Batman do it or Wonder Woman. No, Superman as a hero, as a true hero, he risked his life for everything.
Everything seems okay. Batman and Wonder Woman carry Superman's body.
So speaking of the elephant in the room, Superman died.
They died.
did the death of Superman.
Yeah. A couple of scenes happen. They introduce a little bit of the metahumans. They have a funeral for Superman, and that's where Bruce Wayne and Diana Prince are right there, and they're saying, hey, Bruce Wayne is the one who introduces the idea of getting these metahumans together to form the Justice League, and Diana Prince is like, I'm down, let's do this. We'll get in contact with the rest of the people that we saw in those files, like Cyborg, Flash, Aquaman. So that is the dawn of justice right there.
Yeah.
So, Jim, how are you going to rate this?
See, if I have to rate this, and again, you know, I'm a big fanboy, so I'm not going to be biased at all. It's just, I give it a 3.5 because I love the movie, but again, that story really has its flaws.
Yeah, well, Jim's going to stand up.
Yeah, sorry guys, I got a cramp.
He's got a cramp.
I get so excited for the movie.
Yeah, apparently this is a pretty long ass review. All right, so in the spoiler-free review, I give it like a 5 batarangs out of 5 because that's, as a DC fan, this is eye candy for me. Like this is a great time at the movie theater.
Yeah.
Because if you're gonna watch this as a fan of the source material, you're gonna enjoy this movie. But if you're gonna walk in there as a film critic, then yeah, like this is the film critic version of my score. And to be honest, I'm gonna give it a 3.75.
Nice.
3.75 because the story was the biggest flaw of this thing. Yeah, like I mean, like visually,
the story's the glue of what this movie has to be.
Visually, it looked great. There's some great action sequence. There's some really awesome moments. The big holy shit moments. But at the end of the day, it is the story and the editing and the somewhat lack of substance. I had a great time at the movie. The DC comic book fan side of me loved the movie because I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it a lot. I had a great time watching this movie. There were some really cool scenes, but now that I'm thinking about it, now if I'm gonna really critique this movie like a critic, then yeah, it's got some flaws. But at the end of the day, it's still awesome. Alright, so Batman v Superman, we just talked a bunch of fucking spoilers right here for you guys. So we would like to know, what did you guys think about the movie? Let us know in the comment section below, and be sure to check out the latest episode of the podcast.
If you guys see us at WonderCon,
we will be at WonderCon this weekend, so if you guys are there, stop by, say hello. If you guys want to talk more about Batman v Soups,
I would love to have more conversation about this. Hear your opinions.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure. So let's talk about this. If you guys see us at WonderCon, say hello, and until then, stay focused, stay sharp, and Axial on.